Once upon a time, the night was not simply dark, it was dangerous. When crops failed, when sickness spread, when the wind howled through the rafters, someone had to be blamed. And often, that someone was a woman. Welcome, seekers of hidden truths, to Fata Morgana. Today we unravel the chilling history of witch hunts. Not just the bonfires of Europe, nor the gallows of Salem, but the entire cultural storm where fear, faith, and power turn suspicion into execution. The concept of witchcraft is ancient. In Mesopotamia, clay tablets from 2000 BCE mention rituals to ward off malevolent sorcery. In the Bible, Exodus 22:18 commands, "Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live." But the witch hunt as we know it took shape in late medieval and early modern Europe, where Christianity, political instability, and social anxiety converged. The Malleus Maleficarum, published in 1487 by Heinrich Kramer, became the manual of persecution. It described witches as servants of the devil, mainly women accused of flying, cursing crops, and seducing men. This book, endorsed by Pope Innocent VIII, spread like wildfire with the new technology of the printing press, ensuring hysteria could be copied, bound, and delivered to every corner of Europe. Between the 15th and 18th centuries, an estimated 40,000 to 60,000 people were executed for witchcraft in Europe alone. In Germany, the Würzburg and Bamberg trials of the 1620s saw entire villages decimated, with children, priests, and nobles accused. In Scotland, King James VI, later James I of England, fueled witch mania with his book Demonology, 1597. His obsession made trials a tool of statecraft. In Switzerland and France, accusations often coincided with famine, plague, and war. The witch hunt was not only about superstition, it was about power. Women, widows, healers, and outsiders were targeted, often because they disrupted patriarchal, feudal, or church authority. The witch hunts crossed the Atlantic. The most famous episode unfolded in 1692 in Salem, Massachusetts, a Puritan settlement steeped in religious anxiety. Accusations began when young girls claimed to be bewitched. What followed was mass hysteria. 200 people accused, 30 found guilty, 19 hanged, and one man, Giles Corey, pressed to death with stones. The Salem trials reflected deeper fears: fear of women's independence, fear of Native American raids, fear of dissent within the community. Here, witchcraft became a stage where politics, religion, and paranoia acted out their drama. It is tempting to see witch hunts as a relic of medieval Europe, but they are global. In Africa, accusations of witchcraft still claim lives today, particularly in regions where poverty, disease, and instability thrive. In India, rural women are branded witches, dying, and lynched, often over land disputes or caste prejudice. Even in the 21st century, the label witch remains a weapon of control and exclusion. Thus, the witch hunt is not history alone. It is a mirror of enduring human fear and the scapegoating of the vulnerable. So why do you think the witch hunts flourished? Historians trace multiple causes. Number one, religious conflict. Protestant versus Catholic Europe, each side eager to prove its moral purity. Economic stress. Famine, plague, and the Little Ice Age of the 16th to 17th centuries created desperation, and desperate people needed scapegoats. Gender politics was also a thing. At least 75 to 80% of accused witches were women. Witch hunts reinforced patriarchal norms, punishing women who stepped outside expectations as midwives, healers, or simply as independent figures. State and church power were also a cause. Trials gave rulers a means to consolidate authority, distract populations, and enforce conformity. Even at the height of persecution, skeptics spoke out. Reginald Scott published The Discovery of Witchcraft in 1584, arguing that most accusations were fraud or delusion. In the 17th century, scientists like Johann Weyer criticized witch trials, suggesting mental illness explained supposed witchcraft, but their voices were often drowned by fear and fire. The decline of witch hunts came slowly, as Enlightenment thought emphasized reason over superstition. By the late 18th century, most European states had outlawed witch trials. The witch hunts left scars far beyond the victims. They reinforced gender hierarchies, portraying women as dangerous, irrational, and needing control. They taught rulers the power of fear, showing how hysteria could be weaponized for political ends. They remain metaphors. Witch hunt today describes political purges, smear campaigns, and the scapegoating of minorities. From the McCarthy era of the 1950s, when Americans were blacklisted as communist sympathizers, to modern politics, the phrase still chills. So what can we learn from the age of witch hunts? Number one, fear is contagious. Societies under stress are quick to find scapegoats. We must beware how easily suspicion becomes violence. Next, power needs enemies. Leaders often conjure witches, traitors, or outsiders to consolidate authority. Question the motives behind every accusation in order to find out the truth. And finally, the vulnerable bear the weight. From medieval widows to modern minorities, those on society's margins are always the easiest targets. Protecting them is protecting humanity itself. And what of the future? In the age of social media, digital witch hunts flourish. Accusations spread instantly. Reputations burn. And mobs gather not in town squares, but in comment sections. The old fire is gone, but the spirit of persecution remains. The witch hunts remind us that fear is the oldest contagion, and power often hides behind the mask of righteousness. We burned women once, we exile voices now. The forms change, but the shadows remain. This was Fata Morgana. Subscribe, reflect, and remember, history is not just the past. It is the echo that we live in.